So going forward, I'll just go through the house rules for this discussion or this session. May I kindly ask you guys to switch off your camera? Secondly, your mic is also off. And then may I kindly ask that when we open the chat session, that you post in your questions at the end, and so that we make this discussion interactive, or any question that you have. Please do not post questions so that we are kind to each other. Please may you kindly post questions which are relevant for this discussion, and also do not post in your personal details, because for your own safety, we at Unisa, we don't want, and according to the POPI Act, we don't want your information to be made public. So may you kindly not post your personal details. And also at the end of the session, we'll have the Q&A session. So please listen attentively, and questions that are relevant to the topic, may you please post them in the chat once it's open. And then can you just be kind to each other in our discussion so that we move forward in a kind way. And lastly, thank you for joining us. And also during the session, we will have we'll have polls, which we would like you guys to please participate in, because it's going to help us going forward to this discussion. So maybe to unpack, Andy, so may you kindly please switch on your camera, because I cannot see you. It's actually dark and it's black. I don't know if you can hear me. And also you are muted. May you please switch on your mic. Okay, we are back. Sorry everyone for this misunderstanding, and the technology lesson is done. This is not the usual for us, Unisa. Sorry about that. Technology can let you down. But maybe just to unpack again, we're just going to start. Please, Lebogang, may you kindly introduce yourself? We'll start with you, and then we'll move on to Andisa. Please tell us who you are, where you come from, and why did you choose Unisa? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Lebogang Magua. I'm from Limpopo. I'm currently doing my third year with Unisa. The reason I chose Unisa is because I didn't want to go to a contact university. Like, I didn't want to have a lecturer stand in front of me, teach me on how to go about my studies. I wanted to study on my own so that I can also venture to other things. Like for instance, during my first year, I wanted to venture into a business. So with Unisa, I knew that I would have the time to also go ahead with my business.
Okay. So from what you're saying, it's flexibility.
Yes.
That's why you chose Unisa. Okay, that's great. And over to you, Andy. So why did you choose Unisa? And please tell us who you are.
Thank you very much, Ntokozo, and the listeners here. My name is Vumelani Andiso Shembe. I'm from KZN in a little town called Ladysmith, where usually people know it for Ladysmith Black Mambas. That's how I usually
That's true.
to people, because the little people know about it. And the reason why I came to Unisa, it's because it's not a contact university, and also, how can I put it? Since it's not a contact university, it gives you time, because I come from a not so well-off family, and also now, since it's not a contact university, it gives me time at least to look for a job outside to sustain myself, but also continuing with my studies. So basically, time managing, I have to manage time for myself and stuff like that.
Yeah, and from what you're saying, there might be someone else who's also joining us today with the same background. So as we go and unpack today, maybe, and they're doing their first year at Unisa, maybe we can look at how do you how can you describe, how would you describe your first year at Unisa? I know that it's not so long ago for you guys. So maybe if I can start with you, Lebu, how would you describe your first year at Unisa?
My first year with Unisa was a bit difficult, because I wasn't really familiar with the technology. So I had to learn how to use a laptop, for instance. I also had to learn how to submit things online. And mind you, I was far from Unisa. So I had to like get someone to teach me the system on how it works. So it was a bit difficult for me at first. But like once I got to learn the system, how to use Unisa, how to use my Unisa, then it became easier for me to study with Unisa.
Oh, okay. So how did you get someone to teach you technology at Unisa, and how did you get someone to actually help you navigate? How did you do that? Maybe share the steps that you took in order to do that.
Okay, at first I struggled with my application a lot up until
Okay.
I met a student from like who was studying with Unisa.
Okay.
At that time, I was studying at the TVET college, so she taught me how to apply. Then after teaching me how to apply, I also realized that like I have to learn how to use the system in order for me to do my assignments, in order for me to do well. But then again, the person wasn't there anymore, so I had to take time. I had to make time, go to one of the campuses. Then I went to Middleburg campus. I got someone there, and then the person assisted me, showed me how and where can I find my assignments.
Okay. And then for you, Andiswa, how would you describe your first year at Unisa? I think you muted.
Okay, I know I'm back.
Oh, okay. Welcome back.
No, my first year at Unisa, it was lonely at first, but quite exciting. But since coming from a disadvantaged background, I didn't know how to use computers at first. So I had to go to the nearest campus, which is Sunnyside campus, when they sent me a message via, what do they call this thing, an SMS.
My life.
Yeah, and also to come to the university so that they can give you tutorials about how to navigate my Unisa, how to go about the entire process. But also going to campus has actually assisted me a lot, because I then got to meet other fellow students there at campus, who then taught me more in details on how to go about the Unisa platform, because they come from privileged backgrounds, so they knew how to navigate the, what do they call it, the system.
Oh, okay. And then with reference to your academic journey, how were you able to adapt in a distant learning environment? Besides the technical part of navigating yourself at Unisa? Because from what I'm gathering from you two colleagues is that you had to find someone at the same time. It has to come from you. So the academic journey, how were you able to navigate that one? Like to submit your assignments and stuff like that. Maybe I can start with you, Lebu.
Okay, with me, after learning how to navigate Unisa, so it was simple for me to submit assignments online. Like, because when I started with Unisa, they were still submitting assignment. You could still submit your assignment through PEP and all those other options.
Yes.
But like then again, after learning that I can submit online, it was easier for me to submit online. So it wasn't difficult for me to submit my assignments. And also, at my first year, I was writing at venue based, so it was also simple because like I would go to where I'm supposed to write, and then like there would be everything there. I wouldn't have to struggle with the technology because like it was still difficult, but like I would manage to get my assignments, my timetables and everything.
Oh, okay. Speaking on that, because Unisa has moved fully online, maybe share with our students, how were you able to adapt from venue-based exams to going online? How were you able to navigate yourself with reference to that? Because the cohorts that you are speaking to right now is students who are fully online and not writing exam at a venue-based. So how are you able to adapt to that, moving fully online?
It was easier for me to adapt moving fully online because like already I had like an idea on how to navigate my Unisa. So it was more simple for me to move online. So the only thing that I struggled with a bit, it was my Moodle app, because sometimes when writing an exam, it wouldn't be working or something like, but then again, I would send an email to the IT staff, then it would get sorted.
Okay, and for you, Andisa?
The same question, this one or the previous one?
Well, the same question. How were you able to move, or was it the same experience with you too, where most of your exams were venue-based and now they have to be online? How were you able to adapt to that?
As I've mentioned before, me associating myself with fellow what do they call, fellow students or fellow group mates actually has assisted me a lot, because it's actually them who played a major part to teach me on how to navigate through my Unisa, and also through your, what do they call this thing, your invigilator apps and your my Moodle apps and stuff like that. So they actually played a huge role to for me, at least for me personally, because I'm not.
Okay. Sorry to interject. So can I then ask, from what I'm hearing is that surrounding yourself within a community of Unisa and other students actually assisted you guys a lot, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then maybe just to zoom into one aspect where you can share with our students one major challenge, and then at the same time sharing how were you able to move above that. It can be anything where you are open to share what one major challenge you encountered that you think can affect the 2023 first year students, and maybe share how did you overcome that challenge. I think that's with you, Unisa.
Yeah, for me is, I wouldn't say for personally for me, it was the navigation of the system. And I think most students will still suffer from this type of problem, because not everyone has a privilege of coming to campus and meeting people who can then assist them to navigate through the system, or through my life, or my your Moodle apps and stuff like that. So I'm just thinking of a child or a fellow student that comes from Kandla, from Mhlumayo and stuff like that, does not have access to students on campus, fellow students on campus who can, or university facilities nearby who can assist them to then try and navigate my Unisa, my Unisa platform and stuff like that. So I think that's the one major aspect that could be a challenge for many students.
Okay, but then for you, okay, maybe you've answered this question to say, in order for you to overcome, you were able to actually get assistance from other students, right? From that major challenge, okay? Yes. And for you, Lebo?
Okay, what I can say for me, the challenge that I had, and that I'm also still struggling with, is getting hold of our lecturers, because like sometimes you have certain things that you do not understand, or like you missed an assignment, you didn't see when it was due, because like sometimes you don't even see the sometimes you don't have data, so you don't have access to your my life. So it's a bit difficult for me personally to get hold of some of my lecturers, but some of them I do get hold of them. So but like hopefully, since lecturers are breaking from campus, not from home anymore, hopefully we'll be assisted, we'll get full assistance, we'll be able to get hold of our lecturers from now on, because like I've heard that lecturers from home most of the time, but like now they're back on campus, full-time on campus. So that's most the challenging part for me, getting hold of my lecturers.
Oh, okay. Maybe just to speak on that, the challenges that I've picked, of which my colleagues later on are going to, the reason why I'm having this discussion is to provide everyone with the tools on how you're going to navigate your academic journey. It's not that we are focusing on the challenges alone, but we're gonna bring you guys solutions at the end. So maybe just to speak on the specific challenges that Lebu and Andisa has actually highlighted for us in this discussion. So with reference to technology, I could just bring out to you everyone that we do have workshops where they are either face-to-face, and some of them they are online, and so you can look at the dates and please join those workshops. So that problem it solves. Yeah, so it has to be up to you and how you manage your time on how, in order to attend those workshops. They are very, very critical, especially Unisa provides that sort of service so that you are able to navigate your way and make your academic journey smooth. So just to highlight that we do have workshops where Unisa will teach you how to navigate my Unisa, how to navigate your academic journey as well. And then secondly, I'd also like to highlight to everyone that we do have MOOCs, and by now you should be aware that or have already taken a MOOC when you have been accepted. So there is a MOOC that teaches you different aspects on how you navigate UNISA and how you navigate distant education in the context of UNISA. So the problem of technology, that one is solved, especially because we've moved fully online. So please look out for that. And thirdly, I'd like to highlight that there are workshops that teach you how to navigate on My Life, on My UNISA, and most it's something that I'm also excited about, where we share a lot of information and trainings that happen around in the institution. We do have a Telegram group where we share all kinds of training and every important information that you need as a student of UNISA. And lastly, when you go to the regions, you are able to go to computer labs where you'll be able to actually write your assignments and actually submit. So all these problems that Andisa and Lebogang has brought out, there is a solution in the service that we are providing as the institution. And maybe also, just to wrap up, I'm just gonna ask my two panel members just to touch on for the 2023 context of students who are new. So students might be itching on maybe one tip that you can provide on how they can actually navigate their first year successfully. So basically, can you please provide just one advice for them on how they can touch on one or two things on how they can successfully navigate their first year? I'll start with you, Lebo.
I think our students should be for them to have an easy journey with UNISA. They should like check their announcements more often, and they should also check their UNISA page, because like that's where you also get your most of the time your information. They should also check their UNISA Telegram groups, because that's where you also get most of the information. They should also attend orientations, because they teach you how to navigate through UNISA, how to use the My UNISA, how to use your basically orientation teaches you how to navigate through how to navigate on your My Life or My UNISA. So they should attend orientations, because I'm also speaking from experience. Through my first year, I didn't attend orientation. I didn't even know that UNISA holds orientation for first years. So I think had I attended orientation, I would have known how to navigate My UNISA. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay, thanks, Lebo. I think you raised a very critical point there, that student orientation is very, very important. As the student retention unit, we every beginning of the semester, we provide student institutional orientations where we take you looking at different topics, which are either from the support departments or from the academic side. So I think, well, I'm assuming that most of you who are here actually did attend the orientation. So we look at different topics where we help you navigate My UNISA. I think student orientation is very, very, very critical. And maybe for you, Andiswa, what may be the last aspect that you can advise for students to say, okay, in order for you to be successful at UNISA, what habits can I adopt in order to easily be successful in my first year?
If I can add anything now, I'll be lying because my colleague here has covered me in terms of everything, especially in relation to students must visit the Unisa pages, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, and whatever other social media platform that is there, so that they can get updated on the daily happenings of the university and stuff like that. But also, Telegram plays a critical role because it, in terms of their modules, students are allocated that they can join those groups where they meet other fellow students in there, which can then assist them in terms of what to do in terms of assignments, what is happening in terms of certain or specific modules in which they are doing. And also, as she has said, the one of orientation is a very critical one. Students must attend those things because they tend to give you light on many aspects on what's happening. So hence why I already said it's I'd be lying if now I add something there because she has already covered me quite clearly.
Yeah, I think from what this discussion, I'm taking that you know, it's very important to know how to navigate technology, navigate yourself with the recognized platforms of Unisa, which is my Unisa, and then also look at the announcements, and also always check your My Life emails, because that's where, since this is distance education, that's where Unisa communicates with you, and also just to also communicate with other fellow students in a safe environment, especially on campus. I think I would highly suggest that whenever you want to communicate with other students in your academic journey in order to get assistance, campus is the way to go. And then social media, that one is very tricky, in my opinion, because you know, in order for you to be safe, I think that you must look at pages, especially for us as a student retention unit. We have a Telegram group, and how you get that link is via your My Life. So always make reference to My Life email address, because other pages might not be safe. So that's what I would advise. So just to maybe the last point before I invite Miss Lisa Dazel and Mr. Busumuzi Penyan, I would just like to say thank you, colleagues, for sharing just one motivating sentence or word for students to take before we end our discussion on how you navigate your first year at Unisa. How would you motivate first years? They might be feeling overwhelmed. They might be feeling that their environment is not allowing them to actually succeed, and maybe advise them not to drop out at Unisa. Maybe one motivating statement from you, Lev, to say, yes, you can do this, so that when the takeaway from all of this discussion. Are you muted? Yeah. Well, you muted. Okay. Maybe let's go to, oh yeah, okay.
Oh, what I would say to students, it's that they shouldn't give up. With Unisa, I think because most people give up because they do not have funding, but like with Unisa, you can still get a job and still manage to pay your fees. So people should not give up on their dreams. Even if you have to take like one module per semester, it's still okay. You can still do it with Unisa. It's possible with Unisa. So with Unisa, you can like do your qualifications. You can do your qualification even though you're still at home. So like, yeah, that's what I would like say to students: do not give up on your dream. With Unisa, it's possible. You are allowed to take one module per semester, because like you can still get a job and manage to pay your own fees if you are rejected by NSAS, because others drop out because of funding. But like, and also Unisa has like student jobs whereby you can apply if you're a student. With that way you can apply, and then if you get that job, you can still pay your own fees. So yeah.
Okay, thanks, Lemo. I think you read something that some students might know, that you can get a job at Unisa and actually find that financial base that can assist you. And also it's good for your CV, actually, when you get a part-time job. And for you, Anissa, maybe the last parting motivation that you can give to our first-year students.
Me, I think each and everyone's background is a motivation to get into university and want to finish everything. Not everyone comes from a privileged background. So let me just say personally, that's been my biggest motivation. I could have easily dropped out at any time because studying is not easy, especially LLB, since I'm doing an LLB. I could have just quit at any time because maybe I failed or did so. Oh yeah, let me just say maybe I failed, but that's not an option to then drop out because I know where I come from. I know my background is not an easy background. So at home they are looking up to me with, hey, this man at least must be able to finish so that at least he can come back and uplift the family. But also failure is not the end of the world. You can fail, but just because you failed, it doesn't mean you are stagnant. At least with failure comes lessons. You can be able to say, okay, yeah, I failed, but at least you get to have an appreciation of that failure. Say, hey, I failed. I need to do better next time because I come from this background and stuff like that. I don't know if that's motivation enough, but I hope most of our students have that motivation in them from their backgrounds and the necessary supports that they need to get through their studies. And also, I want to emphasize this point. I've been emphasizing it through the entire meeting to say that you must at least associate yourself with people must around you. You must have the right people around you who will then, because it's not easy, this thing, when you do it alone. You need some sort of motivation. People will motivate you, say, hey, yes, it's not an easy road to navigate through, but push. Eventually, you'll graduate. What do they call it? Graduation is the ultimate goal. So if you just drop out, it means that you have another task now which you've never actually quite completed. Shoot you when you're a person who never completes anything basically in life, because when once failure comes, when you just easily give up and just say, ish, I failed, let me just relinquish everything and stay at home and stuff like that. We don't have time to just let things be and allow failure to overcome us or overwhelm us. Yeah, so that's basically me.
Thank you so much, Andisa, for those motivating words. And just to say from what you're saying, just to add on, is to say, so two things from what I'm picking up in our discussion, that Unisa is building tomorrow's leaders. And secondly, just to say that dropping out is not an option, no matter your background, because as we can see, students, that my two panel members who are joining us today, they have different backgrounds, and at the same time, they were able to overcome their circumstances and challenges and look at the positive, where Unisa, and I've also emphasized this to everyone who's here, where Unisa is meeting you at least 70% with reference to providing you different resources. And can you please look out what student retention is bringing out in your table through your My Life? We provide you with different support systems together with our other stakeholders. And at this particular moment, I'd like to invite Ms. Daisel and Mr. Busumuzi Penyana to actually just take us through on how to study successfully at Unisa. If I can invite colleagues to please join. And thank you so much, Andiswa and Lebogang, for this very important discussion, and where you were providing tools to our first years on how they can navigate their first year at Unisa. May I kindly just ask you to please switch off your cameras so that we get a presentation from Ms. Daisel and Mr. Vusumuzi. Over to you, colleagues.
Thank you, Ntokozo. I just want to check if my presentation is visible.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Thank you. I also just want to check, there are so many people on the platform. I just want to check if Vusumuzi is also with us.
Yes, he's here. He's here.
Okay, so just a short introduction. My name is Lisa Daisel. I'm from the Directorate for Counselling and Career Development. So when we received the invitation from the Student Retention Unit to join you today, we thought that we could share some tips on study success at Unisa. So as Nkozo has indicated, I've got with me my colleague, Mr. Vusumuzi Penyani. So he will start with the presentation, and I will then also continue with the last half of the presentation. Thank you.
Excuse me. Thank you. My name is Vusi Penyane. I see that you are pronouncing as Penyane. It's apartheid government. It's actually Penyane.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you for the invite. Don't worry. Thank you for the invite. And I am at some stage, I studied at Unisa for my undergrad and my postgrad. And I left Unisa and I came back to Unisa and now I'm at Unisa. So I'll be sharing what I know and also from my personal experience, sharing with you how to succeed at Unisa and how to study at Unisa. Okay, next slide, please. Now, the first question that we need to ask every time is, what brings you here? Why are you here? Okay, that is your motivation, according to me. And that's the question you need to answer yourself. Why are you here? You got the invitation. You could have ignored it. You could have rejected it. You could have come up with a lot of excuses. But you took time. You got data and everything else time. And then you came to this presentation, to this meeting today. Why? So the why is the motivation, and this should at all times be pushing you, should be propelling you to go forward, because their motivation, why you are at Unisa, why you are in this workshop, why you are doing the qualification we are doing, should actually be helping you to complete and to go forward, even when you meet struggles, even when you meet difficulties, and you have that in your mind and saying, I came to Unisa for this particular reason, and I'm here in this workshop for me to get this information. So if you don't meet your expectations while you are here, if you don't meet those expectations, you need to ask us. You need to come forward and saying, hi, I came to this workshop. I made time to come to this workshop for A, B, C, D. Please assist me on that. And we will gladly make sure that we assist you. So we don't want you to leave with us meeting expectations. What brings you here is important, and we want to assist you with that. But then from our side, we are saying you are here so that we can assist you to commit to your studies. That's the important thing, to commit to your studies. Whether you are a new student, first time student, the first time you have, whether you are a retained, you need to take some time to think about how you will commit to the study process and what you need to put in place to focus on your study. Those are important things for us in this workshop today. To your studies, it's very important. We have to put in details, say, this is how I'm going to commit to my studies. Then what you need to put in place to focus on your studies. And for that, we suggest some few questions that you need to answer for yourself. To think about this important question. Like, for example, where are you now in terms of your career, studies, personal circumstances? You need to talk of all those stuff, because those things either be helping you to achieve your goal, you from achieving your goal. Question, what do you want? It's very important. Do you need will help you to achieve your goal. What is your goal? Ultimate goal. The other session we shared with students the recording on submitting Kilimanjaro mountain, climbing Kilimanjaro mountain. Okay, now you need, I'm climbing this mountain. Excuse me. You have that goal of finishing. Excuse me. What do you want? Okay, the next question is, what do you need to do? Okay. What do you have to get there? What do you have to get there? Excuse me. It happens sometimes. Of what you have. You have the support group. You have a support is with you. You have your family. You have your husband. You have your wife. You have kids. You have extended family. What resources do you have? What do you have that will help you to achieve your goal? And then the next question is, do you think you can complete your qualification in record time? Is there anything that you foresee and you need to put in place and saying, hey, I need to do A, B, C, D. Okay. When I was doing my BSW at Unisa, I was very clear. I'm going to finish this thing within was a 4-year degree within 4 years. So that means I have to take all the 10 modules each year. But that means I had to plan a lot in my head. I do a lot of planning in my head. So I was planning the whole how I'm going to do that. But it took me 5 years because then while I was actually doing this, I discovered and no, it is impossible to be working full time to focusing on family and also doing the last year in 1 year. And so, but I remember the commitment. I remember where I was going. I remember the plan that this year, so it was a 4-year course. I started in 2006. By 2006, by 2010, I'm done with this thing. That was what I wanted to do. So you need to remember the biggest commitment you must make is the commitment to yourself. So think about yourself. Don't think about other people. So when you're going to complete your qualification, put it into practice and saying, okay, this year I'm done. Okay. And you work towards that. And then important thing is that you make commitment to yourself. The next one, what do you what do you already have in place that could help you to succeed in your studies? And the last question is, what do you need to put in place to help you succeed with your studies? So it's what you have versus what you need and for you to succeed. And we are here to assist you. Next slide, please. Okay. Let's look at committing your studies. Remember, we are talking about, I said to you, we are here so that we can help you to commit to your studies. Okay. Now, I'll give you about 30 seconds. I want you to write down a personal success statement for yourself where you commit to completing your academic year successfully. So I want to give you some time to write a personal success statement for yourself where you commit to complete your academic year successfully. Okay. For example, it does not matter what happens and how I feel, I will get through this year because, then complete that sentence. For example, I would say to myself, I knew within 4 years I was going to go through that and finish my qualification. Okay, because I was committed. I had a plan, and this is what I wanted to do. So I'm giving you about 30 seconds from now to just just complete that sentence for yourself and saying that example and say this personal statement of completing your studies. So the 30 seconds starts now. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, you can continue with that at home if you were still thinking. Now, important fact, but now when you have to look at succeeding at Unisa, we have to look at your time. How are you spending your time? Liz, if it's possible, I want to go to the next slide and I'll come back to this slide. Okay, now, how are you spending your time? And how much time do you spend in each activity? These are some of the activities that you are involved in, and most of us are involved in. So what I want you now to do is to look at this and put a number of hours you spend for each activity. How much time do you spend sleeping? Okay, this will be for example, for a day. Okay, that you can time it by 7 to get for a week. Okay, so you start for a day and then you times it to get it to 7 for a week, and then you can time it with 4 to get to the months. Then you can time it with 10 to get to the year. How much time do you spend sleeping? How much time do you spend eating, including preparing food and all the stuff? How much time do you spend on personal hygiene, bathing? How much time do you spend working? You know, if those are employed, doing voluntary work or internship, and how much time do you spend doing chores? Cleaning, doing errands and shopping, all the stuff. How much time do you spend on attending tutorials, classes, or workshops, or on Instagram or whatever? How much time do you spend? How much time do you spend studying, reading, and researching? Those are different activities, by the way, and you just put them all together. But there's one for studying, there's one for reading, there's one for researching. So when you are researching, you're not studying, okay? And you are just doing a research on a particular issue, then you want to arrive at certain conclusion. When you are reading, you're not studying. So how much time do you spend on that activity? How much time do you spend on transportation, to work and to library? I was speaking to one of the students that I was doing counseling now, and I asked, one of the questions I asked was, how much time do you spend from work to home? And she said to me, okay, I spend an hour at the taxi rank waiting, and then about 30 minutes on the taxi to home. So you have 1.5 hours. Okay, that you have. So we were talking about what she can do in that 1.5 hours. Organizing group activities like going to church or clubs or services. How much time do you spend? How much time do you have with your friends, with attending events, time alone, like for example, watching TV, watching videos, surfing the net or the web, or doing all the stuff? How much time do you spend exercising or doing sport activities? How much time do you spend reading for fun or other interests done on alone? How much time talking on the phone, emails, Facebook, or so on, and etc.? Then you can add other activities. So those are the activities that you are involved in mostly during the whole during the day. So now you need to say how much time do you spend doing those things. So we'll go to the previous slide, if it's possible. Now you need to see if you can account for the worth of your time. So once you have done all that list, then you have to account and saying, this is how much I spend in these activities. Okay, as you can see, for each of the activities and categories you listed on the slide, you made then you have to calculate how much time you spend in that each activity per week. Okay, then you can see how much time you actually spend per year. So, for example, if your number is larger or smaller than 168, which is the total number of hours per week, then it means either spending less time or you're spending more time. So you either need to reduce or you need to add the time. Okay, if your estimated hours is total to fewer than 168, don't just go back and add more time in certain categories. Instead, ponder the question, where does the time go? Where do you spend most of your time? So this is an important thing. Then you can see, okay, this is where I spend most of my time. Then you can start readjusting if you need to readjust. You see the next slide, please. The next slide, okay. So this is the question. Okay, let's go back. Okay, So this is a very important thing. Such how are you spending your time? Because remember, all of us have 24 hours. Okay, it doesn't matter. You could be the president of the country. You could be Barack Obama. You could be whoever. You have 24 hours. And each person then starts spreading the 24 hours and they're using differently. Okay. Now, you have to look at the activities above. You might be surprised. Some of you might be surprised that you are spending a lot of time sleeping. Some people are spending a lot of time, just hanging around with friends. Okay. Some people are spending a lot of time on the net, on social media. Okay. It depending. So you have to know how much you spend your time. Okay. You might find that you study well, and you need to know yourself most of the time. Okay. It's very important that you understand yourself. Some people, we call them a morning people. Some people, we call them a night people. So the morning people study well in the morning and during the day. The night people study well at night. Okay. So you need to know yourself. Okay. So, don't need to force yourself and say, because it's during the day, I need to study because I have time. So maybe you need to sleep during the day, because then you are a night person. You study well at night. Like for example, myself, I study well at night. During the day, I'm get bored and I don't understand what I'm reading. But when the sun has set, there's no sun. It's dark. Then I can able to focus. I can able to study. So know yourself and know where you spend your time. So if you're a night person, study at night. If you're a morning person, study in the morning. Okay. So you need to know yourself so that you know what to do with yourself. You might also learn how long you can continue at a specific task before needing a break. Okay. So that's knowing yourself. Some people ask you, okay, I need to have a timetable of 2 hours, of 1 hour, of 3 hours, or something like that. Then I'll take a break. Then I do this and I take a break. You need to know yourself. It's very important to understand how your body communicates to you. Listen to your body. Your body does communicate to you every time. Okay. And your brain also does communicate to you. So don't listen to other people. So I'm here to saying to you, a very important thing for you to succeed at Unisa, listen to yourself. Let's take, for example, myself. Can listen to my body most of the time. Now, for me, I can only focus on a particular task. Complete it, go to the next task. Complete it, go to the next task. Okay? So I cannot say, okay, because now I need to put 2 hours of studying, maybe 5801, and then another 2 hours 5802, and 2 hours 5803. I cannot able to do that. I just need to say, I'm going to finish with 5801. Doesn't matter. It takes me 2 weeks, 1 week, I'm done with it. Then I go to 5803. Then I go. That's how I work. And then that will also work with breaks and most of the time. So understand yourself, understand who you are, and able to then listen to your body and then take breaks when it's necessary. Okay. Although we all wish we had more time, unfortunately, the important thing is what we do with the time we have. I say to you, we have 24 hours, all of us. What do you do with the time you have? Okay, time management strategies can help us to better use the time we do have by creating a schedule that works for our own time personally. Okay, knowing yourself whether the timetable will work is very important, but you need to have a kind of a timetable. Okay, I will show you some examples a little bit later, but every time you need to understand yourself. As I'm saying, for me, when I was working, what used to work for me was to register right at the beginning. I never waited until the end. Unfortunately, I was paying for myself, so I didn't wait for NSFAS to pay for me. But I would register when the registration were open, first day of January, the 3rd of January, I will register. Then I'll get my material online immediately. So that was my plan. This was how my schedule would work. And then I will start working in January, because at work it was slow. It was not busy. January and February was not busy. So I could focus all my attention to studying, doing assignments, completing all the assignments during those 2 months, and reading all the 10 editorial letters finish all of them because I was doing 10 modules in each year. So that was the plan. That was the timetable that I had. And then during the year when work picked up, and then I had more time then because I've already done it within the first 2 months, then I was able to then to complete and finish what I needed to do. So how much time you have and the time you have and how you spread this time, creating a schedule for yourself is very important. Okay, the schedule that will work for you. I will show something else that works for me and works for other people, but you need to know what works for you. Okay, so it's very also important to look back at the number of hours you wrote in the previous table for a week of studying. Okay, do you have 8 hours of studying time for each module? Do you have 8 hours for each module? Okay, to save this study time, you may need to adjust how much time you spend on other activities. So you need 8 hours for each module, okay, per week. And then if you're spending more time on activities, watching TV or something else on social media, then you need to adjust the time so that you can have more time do studying. Next slide, please. Okay. So it's very important to schedule. Okay, so you need to work on your scheduling, your activities. We know that in addition to your studies, okay, you have other commitments. Could be family, could be work, it could be business, could be any other thing. Okay, to avoid becoming overwhelmed or feeling out of control, it is important to have a structure to manage your responsibilities and to keep you focused on your studies. Your study plan will also help you to negotiate your time with yourself and others. Okay, so once you have your study, your schedule, you also need to negotiate with the people around you. Speak to the family, speak to your colleagues that this time you are studying. Speak to your kids so they understand that you are studying at a particular time, so they don't have to disturb you. Okay. Okay, the following activities will help you to get started with your study planning. Think about when you will study, okay, either in the morning or during at night, okay? And then think about your commitments. And then think about when you are at your best every time. Take stock of what you do and how you spend your time. Take a look at your planning. Do you need to put anything on hold until you complete your qualification? Okay, one of the things from my personal experience, when I was saying to you, I was doing 10 modules, okay, for a semester while I was working full time. Okay, so some of the things had to be put on hold. So social media had to be put on hold, TV had to be put on hold. I'll talk about TV a little bit later, and friends had to be put on hold. Okay, and I was more like scarce, and people saying, but we don't see you anymore. Yeah, you can't see me because I'm studying. And I surrounded myself with people who have exactly the same mentality as me who were studying. So I didn't surround myself with people who are not studying because they always have negative comments, negative things to say. You can't do this, you can't do that. You need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. So you also, need to shift your friends and saying, I used to have these friends, but now I need the friends who have the same, exactly the same mentality, who are focused in completing their studies in their qualifications as I am focused in completing mine, and we can help each other. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is what we suggest, that you draw up a weekly study plan for yourself, okay, or a monthly study plan, but you need to have a study plan for yourself, okay? So the first thing that you need to do, these are suggestions that we share with you, work through the study guides, the lesson, the study units, know what they need. For example, they will tell you, if you're doing 5 modules per semester, when are the assignments due? When is the exam? There's a preliminary exam timetable that is there. So they tell you when is the exam for each module. Okay, so then you have read all these things, and then okay, these are the assignments that are due. When are they due, and what is needed for me to submit these assignments on the due date? Okay, so you read all the study guide, you read the lesson, you read the study units and the tutorial letters to understand those things. Okay. Secondly, you read and study relevant sections of the prescribed books. So in each tutorial letter 101, they will tell you about the prescribed book that is prescribed for that particular module. Okay. If there's no prescribed book, then the tutorial letter will take or study guide and will take place, it will take place instead of a prescribed book. But you also need to read the prescribed books. You need to know what they are saying for you to write your assignments or for you to study. Okay, you also need to incorporate additional material if necessary. So in a tutorial letter, 101 or the 102, depending which one, they will tell you the recommended study materials or books that you can actually consult and use. So for example, if you have to write your assignment, you need your prescription letter, you need the prescribed books, and you need this additional material. Okay, there's some are suggested there, and some you have to look for yourself. So for you also to create a study plan for yourself, you need all this information. Okay, and then the when are the assessments due? Okay, whatever the assessment is due, then you need to know those stuff. Then you need to prepare for the exam and final exams. So when you plan, for me, I found it actually important. I look at the end goal. I look at the end. For example, the assignment, the exams in May, June. Okay, is May, June. This is the day for the exam. Then I know for each module, this is the date for each module for the exam. Then I plan backwards. Okay, so then I say, okay, the first exam is the 21st of May. Okay, so I need a week to study for that assignment, for that exam. But then I need also another week to prepare for that. So I need 2 weeks to prepare and also to study for that particular exam. So I'll always work backwards. Then I'll come to the assignments when they due. Then I'll come to studying, and then I'll have a complete schedule for the semester or for the year. But it's depending on you. Okay, so knowing and preparing for the exam and final exams or the portfolio, you need to know. So when you plan for the year, depending, some people will start from the beginning going forward. Some people like me will start at the end and come backwards to the last day. Okay, so remember for credit mode, for 12 credit module, you will need to spend at least 120 hours working on the module. For a 24 credit module, you will need to spend at least 240 hours working on the module. So see how much each module is worth, how much credit each module is worth. Then you can able to say, okay, this is how much time I need to spend here. If it's a 12 credit module, you need 120 hours. If it's 24 credit modules, you need 240 hours. Next slide, please. Okay, this is an example that we share with you. So always depending of as I say, that you need to know yourself and depending on yourself. Some people can follow this example. Some people will find this example difficult to follow. So don't force yourself. Know yourself. For example, for me, it will be difficult to follow this, as I'm saying, because I worked from the beginning and I'm saying I'm working according to each module and complete it within 2 months. So all these things will be done within 2 months. But this example is for working students and students that we call them full-time students. So students who are not employed, and you can actually download it for yourself. We will share with you the this document, and you can just fit all the activities and the study timetable. As you can see, for weeks, some people are working full-time. There's working time. There's working time. Either they are working or we are studying. There's also study time. There's a TV time. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about TV. When I was studying, I want to share this experience because it's really worked for me. Maybe it might work for you. I'm not sure. So when I was doing my master's, I was working full-time, and I was full-time doing my master's, and I was so doing two things full-time, and then I had other commitments. There were a lot. So and I was so, you know, and at some stage I was like ready to give up. Now, where I was studying, you will have a psychologist all around. So my supervisor was a psychologist, my case supervisor was a psychologist, my mentor was a psychologist. We appointed a mentor. So a mentor is someone else you just go and talk to, who will then assist you. Was not there to, is not there. He happened to be a psychologist, but was not there to do a psychological work. So at some stage, I was coming from my research supervisor, and I was walking, and like when you're walking like a zombie, you're just walking, and it's like it's too much. And then his door was opened, so I went in. I just knocked, and I went in, and the guy was doing something, and I said, "That's the day I want to talk." And then we're talking and telling him how frustrated I am, and I had to do reports at work, and then here they need all this. They need academic work, they need school work, they need this, and I'm so exhausted, frustrated, and all of stuff. And above that, I'm watching TV. Okay, so I used to watch a lot of TV, not just little TV, a lot. I didn't mind to spend 8 hours watching TV. For me, it was not really a problem. So this guy, when we were talking, and then we're talking about the TV, how much I watch soccer. I spent 2 hours watching soccer, and then I spent another 2 hours watching another soccer. On Sundays, then I spent 4 hours watching soccer. And he said to me, okay, this is one question about those who are watching TV especially, or those who are in social media. And he said to me, why are you watching people working? Those people who are playing soccer, they are working. And you are sitting here telling me how frustrated you are, but you are not actually working because you are watching people who are working and you are not working. And it's actually dawned to me that I was actually not working. I was watching people who are working. Now, if you're watching the Ronaldos, they're earning millions of rands, and you are sitting watching the Ronaldos, earning. They'll tell you how many billions they earn per year, and you sit spending 2 hours watching them, or you watch soapies. A different soapies that people they watch. They'll start with scandals. I don't know whether scandals, Crime City or Gomorrah, to scandals, to Generation, to Gen, whatever these things they have nowadays. I don't watch them anymore. I don't watch them. But those people are at work. They are actually working. And you are sitting watching people who are working, and you have your own work, which is studying, you're not doing. When you have to study, when you have to work, no one is watching you. Instead, your family demands some of your time. Your friend demands some of your time that you stop doing work, is you stop working or studying and attend to them. So no one would sit down and say, hey, let me watch Mr. Dlamini studying. I'm watching you. I will sit here for 2 hours watching you studying. No one will do that. Even your husband, even your wife, even your girlfriend, even your boyfriend, even your family, no one will sit down and watch you studying. So why are you spending time watching people who are studying? So that's how I stopped watching TV. I watch a little bit of it now and again, and the people are watching it, or sometimes I'm not really doing anything, but every time I find something to do. So I won't really be sitting down and saying, I'm watching Pirate and Chiefs playing, because those people are working, they're making money. And I've stayed there for 2 hours while I have a book that I can read, while I can research some few things on the internet for my work. While I can do something. So I don't, but I'm still interested in knowing the outcome. So what I have now developed is to watch the last 5 minutes of the game. That's what I need. Or to watch the highlights, which is 5 minutes or 3 minutes. That's what I need. So I need to know whether they won or not. Because whether they won or not, it doesn't do anything for me. I might be happy, I might be proud. And my sister, my late sister, may she rest in peace. And she used to say, what are you gaining yourself? What are you benefiting? Those guys have won, and you're just happy. What are you benefiting? And they are actually benefiting. They're actually getting paid for you to watch them. So for me to come to TV and then social media, then that's how I developed. Therefore, from when I left the office, of my mentor. Oh, okay, sure. I know when I arrive at home, that 8 hours straight watching TV or 2 hours, 4 hours, I stopped. I started watching you the last 5 minutes, the last 10 minutes. So this is what I'm sharing with you as a first student, saying to you, this example can work for you, but also encourage you, say, don't watch people who are working, who are earning money, and you're not benefiting anything. And when you have to work yourself, no one's watching you. And the lecturers at the end of the semester send you an exam. Here's an exam. Show me that you were working, and you can't prove that you were working. And then instead of you, those guys, they have won Netbet Camp or whatever cup they have won, they have money, you have nothing, you have the fail. So change the mentality. Next slide, please. So this is what also we would like to share with you as students for say full-time students studying full-time. Those ones as students are not working, how you can depending on yourself. Remember, you know yourself. So you have 10 modules that you can use. What roster you can, how you can divide these modules to study. For example, on Monday you can say I'm studying A and B, and then from 8 to 10, then you take a break from 12 to 1, which is lunch. Then you go back at 1 to 7 hours to do C and D. Then you have E and F and all of stuff. So as I said before, this is just, we are sharing with you. You can use this. So depending on yourself. Like for me, this will not have worked for me, because I will say from 8 to 17 hours, I'm doing A, and I'm completing A. Maybe tomorrow or in 3 days time or this week, A will be done. Then I'll start again with the B. Then I'll go to the C. But within 2 months, I would have done all of them. Reading and knowing what I need to do. And if I have to do the assignments, I've done most of the assignments. Not all of them, I still have to do the assignments. But depending, this is a full-time student. So you can use this and say, okay, I need this for me, I need a structure, and the structure will be from 8 to 12 or from 9 to 12, depending on yourself. If you're a morning person, if you're a night person, then you can change this around. And during the day you are sleeping, and then you wake up, maybe you sleep at 6, you wake up at 12, and then your day you then start at 1 instead of things, and then you work throughout the whole night. So this thing is changed around. So you can start at 8 at night until the following morning where you sleep and do some activities. So as I'm saying, if you're not person, so change this around. If you're a morning person, this is a study timetable for a full time, so a student who's not employed, who's not doing anything. Next slide, please. For a part-time student, so someone else who's studying, okay, and either doing 10 modules per year, or you are doing 5 per semester, because this is what we suggest. You can do like Monday 1 for 2 hours. Okay, if you're a morning person, it's from 4 to 6, or from 3 to 4, depending on your time when you have to leave for work. And if you're a night person, it could start from 20 hours or 21 hours, but you make sure that you sleep before 12. Because you need that time. So if you're not person, make sure if you're working, you sleep before 12. And you can also do like your on Monday you do the F, Tuesday you do the G, the H, the I, the J, and then the next week you come back with A, B, C, D. So it's a 2-week program, this one. While the full-time students is a 1-week program, and this one is a 2 weeks. So you just for 2 hours you are studying, or you are reading, or you're doing assignments for a particular module. You can actually add more time depending on how much time you have for yourself. So as I was saying, it's important that you know yourself. That is critical, and what will work for you. Okay, and this was a system that worked for me most of the time, because I was full-time employed. So I will do 1, 1, 1, 1, but my aim was every time to complete and go to the next one. So next slide, please. Okay, so at the end, before I end, it's very important that you need to know what you do with your time, okay, and how you spend your time. Okay, and you need, most of your time you need to put towards your studies, and from there you lose some of your friends. Okay, I lost a lot of friends, but I also made a lot of friends. So you lose something now. Now the hope is you sacrifice now, and this sacrifice will pay off next time. This sacrifice will pay off in your future. So every time when you lose something right now, you sacrifice something right now, you will gain more. And one of my, I need to share this story with you. It's very important that you do a lot of sacrifice. Hey, hallelujah. Let me call her a friend. Okay, let's call me this person a friend. She's a young woman. She is a hustler. Okay, she is working, have a full-time job. She, on the other side, has a hustle as a job that started. Okay, she is studying, and I only learned yesterday she was and now doing CA. She's been studying at Unisa, by the way. At some stage, I had to help her to sign some forms. Um, she's studying full time at Unisa, working full time, studying, side hustle, and yesterday, because of her sacrifices she has done studying undergrad, and now she's doing CA at Unisa, which I only learned yesterday. She is a member of the board in one of the entities, government entities. She's been appointed. Young one. So you can see this person. She had to sacrifice her family, leaving her family, because now she is from KZN. Unfortunately, she left the family, left her kids to come and pursue the studies, and she found some other opportunities. And she's yeah. So what I'm saying to you, with your time right now, you might think I'm spending more time studying. Maybe they don't know me well at church now. I don't go to church. I don't go to clubs. Those things, you lose them. However, at the end, all these things, you will get um, a reward for them. So definitely at the end, you'll be smiling, and you'll have to make new friends. As I'm saying, full-time studying, have a side hustle, full-time employed, studying, working full-time, and she's been appointed because of her qualification, because of her studies. Okay, she has not completed it. She's still studying, but because of that, she's then become popular. She was telling me that now, when I called you, be a board member calling you now, not just any person that you know, but a board member will be calling you and saying, hey, do you need ABCD? Hey, I'll be adding ABCD. So your qualification is taking you there. Once you finish it, the world for you, there's no limit. As they say in Sundowns, the sky is the limit. Maybe the sky won't be a limit for you, but opportunities will be opened. Millions and millions of opportunities will be opened for you. But you need to make this sacrifice now. You need to commit to your studies now. And you need to have a concrete plan now. When are you going to complete your qualification and stick to your commitment until the end? So I'll give it to my colleague now to take over the presentation and continue with the presentation. So I thank you.
Thank you, Vusumusi. So my part of the presentation, I won't keep you for much longer, but we thought that we can also just share with you some tips that over the years we've built up either through our own experiences or then in terms of our understanding of our conversations with other students. So as
just
yes?
to interject, we can't see you.
Can you not see me?
No.
I'm sorry. I would like you to see me, but let me just check what is going on.
Thank you.
Is it sorted now?
Yes. I can see you. Thank you.
Okay, so as Vusumusi also shared with you, being a Unisa student, I'm also a proud Unisa product. I've completed all my studies at Unisa, so from undergraduate until master's level. So while working at the same time. So again, just coming back to the ideas that were shared with you by other students this morning, these are just some tips that we thought we could just help you to understand how to have a successful or a satisfying study experience. So the first thing that you need to look at is creating a designated study space. So if you look at, where you need to study, if there is not a space at home, for example, where it's comfortable, quiet, or free from distractions, if that is what you need, start thinking about where you could negotiate to get such a study space, because it is quite important to have that study space so that you can just go and sit down and study and everything is organized around you. So that you don't waste a lot of time, first fixing a study space before you need to sit down. Then Vismusi did talk a lot or in great length about minimizing distractions. So again, if you find a space where you can sit and study that is free from distractions, that is also very helpful. He also spoke to you about establishing a routine, getting to know yourself. When are you at your best in terms of studying? Do you have a schedule that you have so that you can stick to it? And then, very importantly, you heard this morning that even though there were challenges in terms of studying, especially at the first year level, what really helped to get through those challenges is to be connected to other people. So staying connected with your lecturers, your tutors, your e-tutors is very important. And linked to that is also engaging with your peers. I'm not sure how you are experiencing Unisa, but in my case, I did experience it. It's quite a lonely process. So thinking about, who are the people that I need to connect with to create my own, I would call it a learning community. So as you're studying through Unisa, try to surround yourself with people who are also studying, connect with other students, because that is the way that you will then be able to negotiate challenges. For example, I saw on the chat now this morning, there's a lot of people asking about, how do I do this? How do I get the Moodle app and so forth? So engaging with your lecturers, with tutors, e-tutors, engaging with other students is a very important part of your study journey. Then Busmusi also talked about taking breaks. So it's important that we take care of ourselves throughout this learning process. So practicing self-care, make sure that you eat well, that you exercise, you get enough sleep. If you do have spare time left, engage in activities that you enjoy, your hobbies, spending time with your family or your friends, and just surrounding yourself again with the kind of activities that could contribute to you being a successful student. We spoke about staying organized, so it's important that you stay on track with, I know when my assignments are due, I know when I need to go and write exams. So either use pen and paper, old school, or if you prefer to use a digital calendar, keeping track of all of these deadlines, planning your studies will help you to stay focused, but then also to avoid last minute cramming. So managing your time is a very important aspect of being a successful Unisa student. Then also, we live in an environment where there is a lot of online resources. So also take advantage of those resources. And I'm not just talking about reading articles online, but also then being able to connect with other people, connecting with either Unisa students who are currently studying so that you can help each other with managing or navigating the Unisa studies, but then also connecting with Unisa alumni, for example, so that you can stay on track with people in your career field. And then I think very important also is that you need to be a very proactive person to be successful in terms of your studies. So Vusmusi even started the presentation talking about motivation. So in this environment, you won't have people around you asking, have you done this? Have you done that? So it's very important to cultivate self-motivation and being responsible. Take ownership of your learning. Be proactive to look for resources, to ask for support. Remember, where you are sitting, you may feel quite desperate or you may feel very excited about your studies. So support is not just about finding people who can help you when you are in trouble, but it's being proactive about it. So later on, I will share our contact details. So the counseling career development section could be one of the kind of contact points or the place that you could also turn to. But as I said, it's important to think about not just sharing or reaching out for help when it's quite desperate, but just having this continuous thinking that there is support available. How do I access it? How do I continuously make use of this support so that I don't get lost in this, quite complicated new thing that I am needing to manage? Then I've already talked about motivation, but stay curious and ask questions. So learning is not just about, you've got your study material, you're reading through everything, completing your assignments, going to write exams. Be curious about what it is that you're busy studying. If you are reading about a specific topic, ask questions about it. Talk to others about your studies so that you can also be able to learn how to articulate what it is that you're busy learning. And then also importantly, the ability to set boundaries. Also earlier in the presentation, we spoke about your timetable being a kind of tool that you can use to negotiate with others the kind of support that you need. So we understand that it may be quite difficult to balance all your responsibilities. You may be working, you may have family responsibilities, you may have other responsibilities. So setting boundaries is very importantly, but then also being able to communicate to others that, unfortunately, I won't be able to attend this event because I'm busy studying. So think about, how you could communicate what you need in terms of your studies with others so that they can also respect or that they can also understand that you will be disappearing for a while, but you will be back at some stage when you are available. Then something we also thought of sharing with you, I'm not sure you may have heard about the concept, but you get what is now being called a growth mindset. So a growth mindset is that when you believe in your own abilities and your intelligence, and that these can be developed through hard work, dedication, and perseverance. So these are not things that we are born with. Growth mindset believes that through hard work and dedication, we can develop our abilities. We can, become smarter. So a growth mindset sees the talents and the skills as something that can be developed over time, and it's not something that we are born with and can't be changed. So if you have a growth mindset, if you do believe that you are able to work hard and then cultivate or grow your skills and your talents, you will see challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. So you will also not shy away from failure because you see it as a necessary step on your path to success. So you also believe that effort and persistence are the ingredients that you need to achieve your goals. On the other hand, if you have got a fixed mindset, you may believe that your abilities and your skills are things that you are born with, and these cannot be changed. And the impact that that has is that it leads you to actually shying away from challenges because your thinking is that what's the use of doing this in any case, since I will fail. Whereas somebody with a growth mindset will attempt or will grab a challenge and really see what they can do with it, despite the chance that it may fail. But because failure is seen as a learning opportunity and an opportunity to grow, they would then choose to engage with those challenges. So developing a growth mindset will really help you to increase your motivation, to increase your willingness to take risks, and to help you achieve and to reach your full potential. So just keep that in mind. And if you are interested in these concepts, there is a lot of reading that you can go and do, and videos even that you could go and watch. So just go and search for articles and videos about the growth mindset to help you understand how you can think differently about your challenges, think differently about failures, and how that can help you in terms of your Unisa studies. So just some tips in terms of developing a growth mindset. I spoke about it's important for you to think about how you could embrace challenges. So help to understand that mistakes and setbacks are naturally part of learning. But how do you develop then the effort and the persistence to get through those challenges? Also learning from mistakes. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. A lot of us, or most of us, I could say, a lot of times we won't even attempt something because we are worried what will happen if I fail, or what will happen if others think poorly of me. And we limit ourselves quite a lot in terms of our thinking, and that we don't then, truly engage with challenging tasks because we are worried about what might happen. Then also it's important to set goals. So looking at setting realistic and achievable goals. So, really breaking down your goals into smaller steps. Because Musi talked about, his goal was to complete his degree in 4 years. So if that is your goal, you need to think about how realistic that is in terms of your circumstances, but then also sitting down and thinking about breaking that goal down. It's also very important for you to reflect on your learning, and to reflect on where there are areas for you to improve. How can you go about improving those? What kind of support can you look towards at the university, but then also in your immediate environment? And then it's also important to negotiate positive feedback from others. Again, it's also something that we may shy away from. The thought of asking somebody to give you feedback can be quite daunting, but it is important also to think about how do you create opportunities for yourself to get feedback on your development so that you can understand the way forward and the things that you need to work on. So just as a last kind of slide, we heard this morning about, some of the challenges, but we felt that it's also important for you to understand the important skills that you need for distance and learning. So we spoke this morning a lot about motivation and engagement. So we understand that distance learning requires a lot of self-discipline, it requires a lot of motivation. If you are not engaged or motivated in terms of your studies, you may struggle to complete your studies and you may even fall behind. So continuously think about how I could motivate myself. How could I engage more with my studies so that I can stay motivated? We spoke about time management. If there's one thing in terms of balancing all your different responsibilities, and really making your studies a priority for the time that you are with Unisa, time management would be the one thing that is very important. Then there were also a lot of talk about technology this morning. Again, looking at the chat, there's a lot of you that are finding it challenging to deal with all the technology related aspects. So studying at Unisa relies quite heavily on technology. And if you're not familiar with the online learning platforms, ask for help, as you have been doing this morning. Then, of course, just because we are studying, it's not to say that our personal or our family life ceases to exist. So as we continue with our studies, there may be personal or family issues that make it difficult to focus on your studies. You may be experiencing health problems. There may be family responsibilities that are weighing quite heavily on you. So think about again the support that you can negotiate, so that you can manage all of these challenges that I mentioned and turn them into learning opportunities and opportunities for growth. Just a quote, I'm hoping that it will resonate with you based on what we've shared with you, is to invest now in your future self. So every day, every hour, every minute that you have, available, think about how you could invest now in your future self. So if you see yourself walking across that graduation stage, if you see yourself, starting either a new position or your first position at work, if you see yourself opening your own business, being an entrepreneur, providing employment to other people, every choice that you're making in terms of how you spend your time is actually you investing in your future self. So we hope that that could be a quote or just an idea that you can start cultivating if you're not doing so already, is that instead of, as Wusumusi spoke about, spending the 2 hours on your, on your studies, watching TV, is that a wise investment in terms of your studies? So I'm going to leave this slide open while we end off the session, Goza. I know that we are pressed for time. So just ways of reaching us. We've got an email address. You can book online appointments with student counselors. You could contact a counselor at your regional office, and then also a website and YouTube channel that you can visit. But thank you very much for your time, and we hope that we chat with you soon.
Thank you so much, Ms. Deidre and Mr. Vusumuzi. That was indeed, I couldn't have agreed more. That's, you need to invest now in your future self. I totally agree. Thank you so much, colleagues, for sharing all these critical tips for our first year students. And also just to say that Unisa is really creating leaders and critical board members. Maybe just before we go move on to our next segment, may I please ask colleagues to please post in the chat the study plan example. I saw in the chat that students were asking for it. And then secondly, to make this discussion also very interactive, I'd like students to please raise your hands, because now we're going for the question and answer session for all our esteemed guests, our panel members. And also just to ask my colleague to post, we have a polls that are running now. May I kindly just ask students to please respond to them. I'll give you like 2 seconds just to look at them, and may you kindly just respond to them. Just ask my colleague to please post them in the chat. And then just to open up for the Q&A, can I just ask anyone who would like to ask a question? May you please raise your hand, and then I'll give you a platform as we respond. I think we have Stubbs, who's a guest. Over to you, Stubbs. You can pose your question.
Hi. Yes. Thank you.
Hi, welcome.
So I actually have 2 quick questions. The first question was regarding something Miss Violet said in the beginning. She talked about how if people are struggling, they can take one module a semester or one module a year and sort of take it very slowly. But the information I saw on the qualifications say that there's a limited time you have to finish your qualification in. So I just want to clarify how that does work. If it is the case that you can take them one module at a time for a whole qualification.
Okay. And then your second question. Before you go to your second question, I would like to ask my panel members to please also assist in the question and answer session. If you could just open up your, switch on your camera so that we can answer the questions together. Please ask my panel members. Okay, and then, yes, thank you. I cannot see Lebu and Andeswa as well as Musumuzi. Colleagues, may you kindly switch on your cameras. Thank you. And yes, thank you. And then Lebu, you're still here? Okay, I can't see her. Lebu, we can't hear you. I think you're muted. Maybe you can just switch on your mic. Okay. Stubbs, you can. Oh, yeah, we see you. Okay. And then maybe Stubbs, you can continue with your second question.
Sure. So my second question, so I can't remember if it was Miss Violet or Mr. Shembe at the beginning, also talked about how originally in their studies they struggled to get hold of the lectures. So as part of a bunch of problems that they had, and you mentioned workshops as a solution to a lot of the problems. But I was wondering, so I mean, I don't think that's really a solution for contacting lecturers. Is there another way we can do it? Because, for example, my 101 letter for my course, the contact details for the lecturer is broken. So there's I get the email isn't invalid. It is invalid, so I can't contact the lecturer that way. And I don't have problems navigating Moodle, but on Moodle, I see there are 14 lecturers listed listed for the course. So I emailed one of the lecturers, but haven't gotten a response. Just because I noticed that a lot of the course wasn't set up. But I'm just asking because I'd rather sort of ask before I start emailing through the list of 14 lecturers on Moodle and what the process is, how to contact lecturers. So that's, I guess, generally the second one.
Okay, yeah, okay. All right, I don't know if my colleagues would like to take the questions, but maybe I can try to answer. The one for contacting the lecturers, I would say that I know that there are college admins or departmental admins. You could also reach out. It should be in your tutorial letter. You could also do that. Maybe if you can switch off your camera. Yeah, if you can do that, I think that can be very helpful. That's one avenue. So college admins or the departmental admins, that will also be helpful. I don't know if my colleagues would like to add on that, on how to contact. And then the one with reference to taking one module at Unisa. So there is a structured different kinds of degrees, and there's a certain time where you can complete your degree. So according to the structure of the degree, you have to look at that. Not that you can take one module per semester. No, you can't do that, because there's a specific time and there's a specific program according to the degree that you can complete your studies. I don't know if my colleagues would like to jump in there or add on those two questions.
Tukoso, I will post a link on the chat. But just to give those for the question and ideas that, for example, in the link that I will share with you, they do give an indication that, for example, for a 3-year degree, which is 360 credits, you've got a maximum of 8 years to complete that degree, so 8 registered years. So it's important for you to understand, firstly, how many credits your degree consists of. And then on this webpage that I will share, they give a background or the rules regarding how many years have you got. So for a higher certificate, for example, which is 120 credits, you've got a maximum of 4 years. So using that, for example, if you look, let's say a BCom degree, it's got 32 modules. So if you have 8 years to complete that, you will need to complete at least 4 modules a year, to stay within that rule. So just, go and take a look at the information on the link that I'll be posting to evaluate your own particular situation.
Yes, that's
Thank you.
true. I agree. I agree. Yeah. I think also maybe just to add is to say you must also look at your goal in your environment to see how many modules you can cope with. But as Ms. Daisy said, that you have to look at the credits and the program, how it's structured. Maybe we can go on to another question. I don't know, do you still have a question, Stabs, or we can move on to Wisega?
I think I've got something to work off at least. So I'll
Okay.
try and email the department heads. The one module a semester. I don't really have an answer for that yet. But it's more because my question, I guess, is more complicated. But I don't want to bog down the session because of that.
Okay, maybe you can send me an email. We'll try to solve your issue.
Okay, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, okay. All right, so maybe we can move on to Wisega. Wisega,
Hello.
what's your question? Hi, welcome.
Hi, ma'am. Ma'am, for at this moment, I don't have a question. I just wanted to thank you guys for the opportunity you are giving us at Unisa and how to study. Because for me, this I'm doing my last year, so it's a lot of work, organization, workshops, and all that stuff. So I hope that I will pass my degree and like to carry on, although to work as like. I just wanted to thank you for all the things that you are telling us and all that stuff. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Yes, you can also raise your hand to also comment and thank us. That's fine. We are happy. Maybe someone else will also be motivated on. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Daphne, over to you.
Hello.
Hi, you are live. Yes.
Okay. I've got two questions. The first one is okay. When I started registering for Become, I was afraid because I was not familiar with the technology that is used here in Unisa. So I only registered 3 modules. So I want to find out for next semester, can I be able to register 6 modules?
Okay. Does anyone that question? Because I can see now we are pressed for time and we have our last guest. Can I just ask students to post their questions on the chat and then we will answer them? Yeah, I think I can see that we only have 10 minutes and our guest needs 15 minutes. Sorry, students. Can I just ask that you post your questions on the chat and then we will answer them? And just maybe one last thing from my side. I'm sorry, I wanted to give everybody an opportunity, but time is against us. One last thing, can I just ask that you respond to the polls and also to know that the recording will be posted on YouTube and we'll send you an email on where to find it. Thank you so much. We'll answer your questions, just post them in the chat. And thank you so much to my guests. I'll just hand over to Mr. Rashidi, who will be closing this session. And we're not disregarding your questions, but we're simply saying that time is against us. Oh, sorry, colleagues, my camera is off. Oh, sorry about that. I'm simply saying that time is against us. To respect all of that and what we have in the program, can I just ask Mr. Rashidi to close and my panel members to switch off their cameras? Thank you so much. Over to you, Mr. Rashidi.
Thank you very much for showing up today, for engaging with us. Of course, I need to just underline a few issues that, for example, that Unisa services are free. So at no point, except for paying for your study fees, at no point should you be involved with people promising you assignment answers and joining some WhatsApp groups that are not sanctioned by the institution, for example. So don't fall for any of that. Otherwise, if you get caught, you might have to face some disciplinary action if you are found to have copied and things like those. So just stay away if Unisa is not communicating that they are offering you particular services, including tutorials for that matter. They are free, you don't need to pay, and it's important. But the second thing that I want to just add to the conversation is that assignments are extremely important for you to do. So you may not have enough time to do them to as best as you may have planned to, but just make sure that for every assignment that is compulsory to do, be it assignment 1, assignment 2, just make sure that you submit so that you can be able to have a good year mark and be able to get admission into the examination. Then the last thing I want to say is that, of course, the counseling and career development colleagues have spoken. So whenever you're feeling somewhat overwhelmed by your personal circumstances, even if they have nothing much to do with Unisa, but because you are a Unisa student, please take advantage of the contact details that they have shared so that you can be able to get help, professional help from qualified colleagues, psychologists, and professionals in that space. They are always ready to serve and support you. So with those few words, let me thank you for being here. Thank the organizing team, the technical team, the presenters, Lebo, Andiswa, Vusi, Leza, and all the other SRU staff members who are working in the background, of course, including the program director herself. Please do drop us an email on fye@unisa.ac.za so that we can be able to assist you. And quite importantly, and this is what Andiswa and Lebo said at the beginning, as frequently as possible, please do check your My Life mailbox as frequently as possible, daily, twice a day, as many times as possible, so that you don't miss out on important information. It was great having you, and we hope that your journey is going to be much smoother now that you have learned about how you can navigate your way around the institution, around the academic activities you need to complete, and all the other resources that the university is making available to you. With that, I would like to thank you for being good sports, and we will meet again soon. Thank you and good.